one that came in earlier. This is about DSRs. Your labels on DSRs are misleading. A buyer could rate me as accurate, satisfied, quickly, and reasonable, which are the labels for the 4s, which, according to your seller standards, would make me a, quote, bad seller. What are you doing to fix this? And Linda, I know this is a big question among the community, and I think we will be addressing this for a while, but I know the answer I give. I wonder what you say. So go ahead.
Okay, Griffin, I'd love to hear the answer you give too. So I mentioned a couple minutes ago that we're always looking for room for improvement and actively exploring ways to make the whole lead feedback process better. I would also like to mention that we know that sellers who consistently receive 4s are performing less well than the majority of sellers. So the seller standards, which will be enforced beginning in November, require a minimum DSR of at least a 4.3 across all 4 DSRs. And we know that buyers who are leaving the higher DSRs come back more often and buy more items. So the vast majority of sellers continue to deliver great experiences, a very small minority who are below that 4.3 threshold. And as I said a couple minutes ago, it's not the 4s that are driving them there.
And I think what happens with sellers is they see, and of course this is absolutely correct, if you rate somebody on a single transaction with 4s, that it indicates it was a good experience. The disconnect, I believe, comes from the understanding of how this is working on a single transaction and how it works on the aggregate. So if you think about a single transaction where somebody has left you all 4s, and apparently it does happen, that is not the same as the aggregate we're looking at as the average, which below 4.3, and our data supports this, indicates not a case of all 4s. And in fact, I know we ran the data to show this for a period of time, came up with the scenario that showed that to date, everyone who has dropped below 4.3, there was no one who had all 4s.
Right.
In every case, there were always a significant number of 3s, 2s, and 1s which drove this. And I think this is hard for sellers to understand, and we need to keep bringing this up and mentioning it as part of the current system, that why that's the standard. It's not that the standard 4.3 or lower than 4.3 indicates in a single transaction that was bad. It's that when you look at it as an average, the data shows that anyone who's below that, and there have been literally no exceptions, has a significant number of bad experiences indicated by buyers, which is why that was set there.
Oh, I don't know what the hell you just said. And like you just said somewhere in there, I think buyers are having a problem understanding. You know why buyers or sellers are having a problem understanding? Because nothing in the world that has stars attached to it that says fill in this star for satisfaction should take that long to explain. That is the problem, people. And I really believe that it's the other way, that it's really impossible for a seller or a buyer or anybody outside of the world of eBay that are putting these DSRs together to make any sense out of why does it have to be rocket science for you to explain 5 stars. Let me show you the problem, and maybe we can come to some understanding of what's going on. So I'm just going to take a blank sheet of paper here. So, you know, I'm not that smart. I know I'm not that smart. I don't do all those great things and sit in the room and look at your status and all that. But one thing I'm going to try to do is just let's break this down, okay? If you've got a thing and it's got 5 stars on it, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay? And the problem really lies not necessarily in this star. And I know a lot of people have talked about the 4 star. The 4 star is not the problem. The problem is the 5th star. The 5th star is the one that makes no sense. And the problem is that people will choose that 5th star if they just want to give people the highest ranking that they could possibly give them, or they choose that because they don't know where else to go. The problem is between the 5th and the 4th star. The 4th star says satisfied. The 5th star says very satisfied. Okay? When you are able to accurately explain to me the difference between being satisfied and being very satisfied, then guess what? I'll be semi-satisfied in your explanation. How about that? See, the problem is it's a game of semantics. Once I'm satisfied, I can't be very satisfied. Satisfaction is the end of it. Okay? It's like happy, or are you very happy? What? Are you 17? Are you very 17? Are you 40? Are you very 40? Are you fat? Are you very fat? Are you black? Are you very black? Are you white? Are you very white? You see, the problem is not in the stars. It's not in the system. It's in the very. And the problem between satisfied and very satisfied is total crap. It's just nobody understands that, and that allows for room for error. So even though, which I'll give you, when you're sitting down and you're looking at the aggregate data over all the people, you do see, evidently, that somebody that's bad is still falling out as bad. But you also have a problem with people that are actually having a good service and they're giving good performance, getting a score that is telling, on the 4 stars that says it's satisfactory, it's good, everything's fine, but you want everything to be very fine on the checkbox, and everybody just doesn't get that. And so that's the problem. Again, if you can explain that one to me, then we'll have no more problems ever. But I just don't think it's impossible for you to explain that to me. There's no even definition for satisfactory versus very satisfactory. So that's the problem. Okay. I've done my thing. I'm not going to talk about DSRs anymore because I think it's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous argument to keep going back and forth. First thing, as far as I'm concerned, is my DSRs are fine. They're never going to be, 1,000%. Why? I think because people don't get the difference between, doing 4 stars or 5 stars. It's just like, in gymnastics. When's the last time you seen a 10? I think it was a little cute girl back in the, early 80s. You know what I'm saying? That's because people just don't give 10s, no matter how great you do the thing. And that's the same way it is with stars. People are not going to always give you 5 stars. So all you guys out there with 5 stars, great. Someday somebody's not going to give you a 5-star. Get over it. So that's my 2 cents on it, and I know you'll probably hate it.
That was the answer I give. I know you were
That's
curious.
a great answer, yeah.
Thank you.
I throw out one other data point, too. So 85% of the DSRs left for item as described are 5s, and 73% of the DSRs left for ship cost are 5s, and the other 2 range in between those. So really most of the sellers on the site are getting an off 5s.